back or to the channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. If you're subscribed already, welcome back. Appreciate all the support from everybody. All right, got a few updates here. So first things first, in between last video and then in between this video, I did actually give up on this project. Kind of found some personal stuff out in life, and just like all the other last projects you guys have seen on the channel, I shipped them off because I couldn't really afford to do two things at one time that were very expensive. If it was two cheap things, I could handle it, but so I decided that screw it, I'm gonna go through with it, and I'll explain that in maybe a couple other videos of why I didn't want to and why I am, whatever. So right now I'm in the garage. I kind of tried to let it warm up in here a little bit. It's like 28 degrees outside, so I'm kind of nervous about putting these heads back on right now just because of how cold the block is, and you know, it is warming up quite a bit in here. So we'll get right into it, I guess. So I got the heads. I've scraped this side. I've used some WD-40 and a Scotch-Brite pad, kind of just lightly cleaned it up. I blew all my head bolt holes out, the studs, bolts, holes, whatever. I blew all those out, vacuumed it out. I already put new dowel pins in that came with my kit. I've cleaned up quite a bit here. So I got the heads back from the machine shop. They are let me see if I can flip these over really, or I'll do it in a second. So these are the factory heads. They all checked out good. They redecked them. They took 5 thousandths off, I believe is what he said. They put 100-pound high rev springs in it. They did also here, I'll just do it. I did also have them O-ring the heads too. So I wanted to paint them. I did want to get these things all painted up, but the heads you really can't. The heads, you're not really going to see the color of them unless you're looking up through the wheel well or certain spots down in the engine bay. You know, if you're really looking to see like if it's studded or something, whatever. Not too worried about it. Right now I don't have a gasket on here. I just put 2 bolts in here just so that way when I lift it up onto the block it's a little bit easier to hold. I got the rocker box gasket in. I got these all cleaned up. I did end up ordering, oh here, before I forget, the guy who did my heads, it was Dynamic Diesel and Machining Performance, I believe, out of Chesterfield in Michigan. He did I think he actually kind of hooked me up. Every time I ask this guy for something, it's super cheap all the time. So he ended up he redecked the heads, put new springs, new valves in it. The valves he didn't even charge me for. Did the O-ringing. He pressure tested them, mag checked them, and all that came out to I think 800 bucks, which I feel like to buy this head right here, you know, remanned with all this stuff on there, they're like 1,600 bucks. So he ended up doing that, and just wanted to shout out to that guy. He's been cool every single time I've called him. I've been missing a couple parts, and he's told me, hey, come up to the shop and I'll just give them to you on the house. So shout out to Paul. Cool dude. He does a lot of work for like DNR and Rolling Coal Customs, a lot of the big diesel shops around us. So he ended up I got my top end kit from him too, and this is the full set. A lot of the stuff we're not even going to be using. And then I got the where the heck are they? I got a set of billet 6.0 6.4 push rods. If you go to buy a 6.0 push rod, they'll give you a 6.4 push rod anyway. They updated them and shortened them. So I got these from him too. Again, he hooked me up, killer deal. So I believe that's all I got going right now. I gotta wipe the bottom of the head down, and then we're gonna lay the head gasket on there, and I'm gonna attempt to put these down on myself. I know it can be done. I have to clean up all my push rod or my head studs. These actually came out of my buddy Justin. It came out of his old 6.0. These were just one single torque here. ARP tells you on their website that as long as they are torqued to spec in the correct sequence, that you can reuse these studs. I know who put them in, I know who took them out. That's why I trust it. So I gotta let my I left my camera upstairs, never charged it. I've been running around all day today, so I'm finally excited to actually start putting these heads on. I'm gonna go back through and just do one more cleaning, one more vacuum. I'm gonna blow the holes out one more time just to make sure. Run my fingers through here. This color, you're not really, I mean, I guess you could get rid of this, but you don't really want to dig into this too much. You don't want to start scoring it and scratching it. A lot of this stuff, I can't feel anything on here, like any of these light scratches. Everything feels pretty good. I did just find one little piece over here that was kind of lifted, so I just got that. I know there's probably going to be somebody out there that watches this video one day and was like, dude, why didn't you put lifters in this? Somebody has been in this truck before. These lifters are in really good shape. I took one out, inspected it. I just pulled a random one out of the front. You know, I oiled it back up, put it in there, tightened the retainer tray down to spec. Everything looks good with the lifter, so I'm hoping that we don't have a lifter problem with this, because if we do, I'm grabbing every single fire ammo in the house, and I'm gonna you already know this thing's gonna be done, and I will not touch it again if I drop a lifter in this truck. I'll be so pissed. But I got to get this truck up and running before summertime, and it's going to take me a long time to be able to do this. You know, we got kids and house paint, you know, whatever, so it's going to take me a while. But I did sell the turbo off this truck when I posted it up for a part out, so I'm kind of bummed out about that. But at the end of this, I can put this whole truck back together, cab, bed, a whole 9 yards without putting a turbo on right now. They're not that hard to do with the cab on, you know, whatever. You can, they're really easy. So worst comes worst, I'll just, if I don't have a turbo by then, I'm gonna put it all back together and put the turbo on last. So I'm gonna let this thing charge up, and then we're gonna start putting these heads on. So I got all the studs cleaned. I've been letting this thing charge. I'll have the camera charged better on this side, but got the studs cleaned, got the block surface cleaned. I went over the gaskets. The other gasket I gotta look a little bit more into, because I thought I seen something on there. But pretty much ready to put the head back on right now. Yeah, like I said, I got the studs all cleaned up. They were pretty dirty. Threads were pretty dirty, because you know that fastening lube isn't the cleanest looking stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna set you guys down real quick and see if I can get this thing on there. That went on pretty easy. My big fear was not being able to set it down and then end up destroying the threads on the way down, but it looked like it went on pretty good. I'll look around in here for a quick second and just double check some stuff, and then grab the rocker box here. Rocker box is on. I still don't know how I feel about this purple here. I did actually screw some of the paint up on it, but the anything else that I get powder coated, it's probably not going to be the same purple as this. And I wasn't even 100% for sure if I was going to use these rocker boxes or not, because I kind of screwed up the glow plug harness hole. I kind of chopped them up when I did the glow plugs on this thing back when Justin owned it. You know, I don't know why I just did that. It probably would have been a million times easier to... Oh, that's because I was going to paint it. See, I just screwed up. I didn't put the manifold gasket on or anything. It would have been a lot easier to do it while I was sitting right there on the table, but But I'm gonna do that after I tighten this head down. We're gonna go through a couple things here. We got to put some push rods in, our rockers, the valve bridges, and then get going. So all of our push rods are in. Got all those guys there. So pretty much what I'm doing right now, I got all my push rods in. I'm putting the rocker arms on right now. I'm putting a little bit of the assembly lube in the bottom of the pocket where the push rod goes, and then where it goes onto the valve bridge here. Sorry, I couldn't think. So I'm just putting a little bit right here, a little bit in that pocket, and then I'm taking some of the assembly, the ultra torque here, and just putting just a little bit on the threads. Alright guys, so in the middle of doing this last night, I ran into a problem that I wasn't 100% sure about. It's obvious to a lot of people that are in this 6.0 game. I've never had this happen to me yet, so I wasn't 100% sure, but I got everything all seated down. Or I put the heads on, put the valve train back in, started putting the rockers in, and I noticed that on one of the rockers, that plastic retainer clip right there was broke off. And I stopped doing what I was doing until I heard from somebody, or kind of did a little bit more research. And a lot of people said that you can run them without them, that they're only used for assembly, blah blah blah. So I got it seated down. I just put all the nuts on the studs here, and I'm gonna start torquing this down. Everything's good on this side now. So yeah, I just got to start torquing them. I guess torque everything to spec. So I'm gonna try to set the camera up. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this from somebody out there. I am using a chrome socket for this. I don't have a black, impact metric 18 anywhere, or 12 point. So I did that side. This side, the driver's side, came out fine. So I'm gonna do it again over here. I'm gonna leave these valve covers off for a while. So for some reason, if I go grab one or come to the store, I'll double check it again. But I think it'll be fine. I actually seen like thoroughbred diesel, like that dude did the whole motor with a chrome socket, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna start torquing this down. All right, so this first set, we're doing it in 3 sequences. We're gonna do 70, 140, and 210. So I just did number 1. This is the first one you gotta do. So I just did this one to 70, and I've been taking a little marker. This is just like a little chalk marker. So every sequence that I do, I'm gonna put 1 dot for the first 70, and then after the second set, I'm gonna do the 140. I'm gonna do another dot. And I should have 3 dots on each stud when I'm done. After you do this first 70, like I went through and I torqued up, I just finger tightened all these. So I went to 70. So now all these are loose. So instead of sitting here ratcheting this thing, 1,000 times when I don't need to, I'm just gonna tighten them up by hand and then start torquing again. So there, we got that done. All right, so I did my first set of 70. I'm gonna let this just kind of set for a second. I know I've seen a lot of different people just kind of jump right to it. I'm gonna let it sit and just kind of settle for a second. My garage still isn't all that warm. I mean, it's pretty warm in here. I got 2 heaters going. I'm about ready to take a hoodie off. I'm gonna let this just sit for a second. I'm gonna inspect some stuff. I gotta just feel like I need to keep an eye on this one rocker arm here, just to make sure everything's still seated, and I'm gonna let this camera charge for a sec. All right, well, of course, I don't know why this camera is just like, I don't know if it's because it's so cold out, it's not charging right, but I let it sit and I try to do some things, charge, whatever. It's just not doing it, but I'm on like sequence, I'm on like number 9 right now on the 210. I'm gonna set it up just to do the last 2, just to show you guys, you know, it's pretty, I don't even know if you guys can hear me good or not, but 210's a lot. I mean, it's quite a bit. I'm trying to get it all on the same, trying to hit that 210 mark on that rotation, because I don't want to get close to it, come back, and then hit 210 instantly. I'm trying to get it in one big pass and trying to hit 210, but I don't have that much room here to mess around, so should get it on this one. I was always told that if you're using a torque wrench, you know, let's say you go right here and you're like say your 90 pounds is almost there, and you come back down and then come up a tad and you hit 90, you're not actually getting your correct foot pounds there, or inch pounds, whatever you're using. I was always told just to try to not come back as much as you can on the ratchet. So right now everything's all 10 studs are down to 210 now. I believe it was 25 foot-pounds for the head bolts on the intake side, and then I think it stays the rocker arm bolts. I guess it doesn't, in my opinion, I feel like it doesn't really matter, because you don't want them backing out obviously, but if they come loose, nothing's gonna happen. The head stud's holding the rocker arms down. So from what I've seen online, I think it's 25 foot-pounds for these head bolts on the intake side, and I think as everybody said, 23 foot-pounds for the rocker arms and the rocker box bolts. So I got a little 3/8 drive over here, ratchet, or a torque wrench that I'm going to use. I'm going to set it to like 10 foot-pounds just to do them in order. It tells you it's number 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 15. So I'm just going to do those real fast. Another one of those things where I should have, I can't find my long wrap or extension here. I think I left it in the cab of the truck actually. I'm not going out there right now. I could be talking to myself right now for all I know. I don't even know if you guys can hear me or not, or that heater. $15, 25 foot-pounds doesn't feel like it's enough in my personal opinion. I mean, there's barely anything on 25 foot-pounds. I think this is another one of those things though, it's not, I don't think the 25 foot-pounds or whatever is actually going to do much here. I think it's just a matter of not wanting the bolt to rattle out here. I'm going to put a dot on these so I know I touch those. And then I'm going to set this up to do the rocker box. sit there and spin my ratchet around for no reason. I don't really trust this this torque wrench here. So I am gonna get a different one. I'd like to get a couple digital ones. I think the digital is probably the better way to go if they're calibrated right. I just don't trust these. I don't trust anything really mechanical. Alright, so hopefully this rocker arm stays put, because I'd hate for something to happen to that after we fire this thing up. But the heads are both heads are complete. They're both on. Everything's torqued down. It's definitely really cool to see studs in this thing. These are the old head gaskets here. I mean, there's a lot of shit everywhere on these heads. I mean, right here in between those two, I mean, there's no sealant here around this one. Right here. I got a little bit right here. I mean, a lot of the stuff could have been stuck to the heads too, or to the block. But it's I put all the new valve cover, these little compression things here. I put all those on. I put new seals around the glow plug harness. I'm not putting the manifolds on right now. I'm going to wait till I'm a little bit closer to the end of this project and just see if I can just come across. I think the OEM ones are like 150 bucks a piece maybe, which if I could afford it, I'd like to do put some nice ones on there, and then it'd be cool to put an O-Dog on there. I know the O-Dog's like a huge step up for these things. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put my glow plugs in. I think those are torqued to like 14 foot-pounds. I'm going to put those in really quick, and probably actually going to bring all of my injectors and the new seal kit in the house and do it at the table. I mean, sitting there and do it, watch some TV while I'm doing it, you know, make it easier. And then I have the gaskets and everything for the H-pop cover. I have the whole kit. I'd like to get that thing resealed. You know, there's in this back corner here, you got to put some RTV or some gasket sealer where they put this back plate on. But I don't really want to do it because I want to powder coat it. You're not really going to see it, but it's too warm, or it's too cold out here to paint it. So I can't do anything right now. And I didn't want to pull the oil cooler housing off. I didn't want to, or the oil filter, cooler housing, whatever. I didn't want to pull that off until I got the heads on, because I didn't want to risk anything falling down inside the block. So I'm going to tape off the upper intakes here, the ports, and then probably I'm going to wait until I get the oil cooler here to do this, so I can do it all in one shot, put it back on, And I know it came with some other gaskets, like a thermostat housing gasket. I'm gonna throw that on. I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of mess around in here now that I got these on. That's a big weight lifted off my shoulder. I hated just the motor sitting in here wide open. It's, you know, I come in here and I work, so it gets hot and cold, and I just feel a lot better now that they're on, which it's very exciting to see. This is like probably the most expensive part of the whole job. I mean, it is the most expensive part. I think between, let's see here, I got a little bit into it, not much, because I think I got good deals, and his buddies hooked me up with some stuff. So yeah, head studs are, do them in 3 sequences, do 70, 140, 210. Just make sure you follow the pattern. I put everything in. I put every bolt in here and just hand tightened it. So I put the rocker box on, put the push rods in, put the rockers on, hand tighten the bolts. Then I put all the rocker box bolts in, hand tighten those, put the upper head bolts in, hand tighten those. It just gives me peace of mind knowing that they're in where they're supposed to go. And my table's kind of clearing up over here of stuff I got to do. So I'm gonna order some one-piece standpipes for this thing. I haven't had any standpipe or dummy plug issues with this thing, but if I can get one-piece ones, I think I found a guy that said like 180 bucks shipped to the door or something, which I think a normal set of standpipes are like 110, 120 or something. So for an extra 60 bucks and I have to worry about it anymore, I'll do it. So all right, I'm gonna mess around in here for a little bit. It's been probably a week, maybe a week and a half, somewhere around there, since I finished up doing the driver's side here. The only thing left we got to do there is just pop our injector clips through the rocker box, and then yeah, put standpipes and dummy plugs in, and then the high pressure oil rail, and that side should pretty much be good, I think, unless I'm missing something. Figure it out as I go on. But we first things first, I'm gonna crack me a Mickey because I'm fat. We are going to, I'm gonna start working on this side. I'm gonna pull the valve cover off. See if I can do it without it falling. It should rest on that stud. Should, probably not though. On the driver's side over there, I already went through and put all new seals and copper washers and everything on the injectors. I did not do this top O-ring here with the little snap ring in there. They're actually kind of a pain to do. If these injectors were like, I don't think any 6.0 has OEM injectors in it with 260,000 miles on it. I'd be surprised. It's definitely happened before, but not this one. But these are the Warren 20530s, and I put these in like maybe 10,000 miles ago. And the only reason I'm doing these ones is just because they're a lot easier to do, and it's just like, why not if they're right here, I guess. Which is kind of the same concept as the top one, but they're kind of a pain in the ass, and they're time consuming. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna warm the garage up a little bit. It's like 40 degrees outside, so it's a little bit warmer. But I'm gonna go ahead and do these seals, or the O-rings and everything, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put the injectors in this side. Everything's looking good over here. Hopefully we don't have any issues with any rocker arms here when we go to start it up. I got the injectors done, all new copper washers, the white O-ring, the black O-ring, the one that goes to the rocker box here, the one inside the electrical connection on the inside. I'm sure you can see what I was doing here. So with this copper washer, what I was doing is I was just taking a shallow 10 and putting the copper washer on here and just pushing down through it. And when I've seen this before, I've read this before, there's like a raised side on the copper washer, and then there's like a flat side that like it's concave that comes in, and then there's a side that comes out. I was always told, and from what I've read and what I've seen and watched, like Thoroughbred Diesel, other bigger people do this, they always put the raised side coming down towards the engine, and the concave, or the, I don't know if I'm saying there, the concave side goes up. So that's what I did on all these. Hopefully there's no issue with that. And I've also read that it doesn't matter which way, either way it's going to compress. But I got all that done. I got all my rocker bridges cleaned up. You know, stable's a mess here, but I am going to, well, it's a couple things real quick. So what I was using is I was using these picks here, and you don't really want to, you can use this one to pull them off. That's fine. I used a razor blade to get down in between the injector and the copper washer. But you definitely don't want to use these when you're putting them back in. I used this one. This is like the only thing I had handy on this table, and I'm sick of jumping over this truck. But pretty much what I did is I used, like on the inside of this connector here, I used this one on the flat side just to like push down all around it to get it seated. You know, I didn't use the pointy side to push down on it because I don't want to put any holes in it. But I did put a little bit of lube around these before I rolled them on. Be careful of the edges here. You know, you don't want, obviously don't want to tear this, or you want to lube them up when you put them in. You don't want to roll one or split one or whatever. So I'm gonna use a little bit of fastener lube on this injector hold down. These are notched, so you can't really put these in wrong. They go right here. And yeah, I'm gonna do just a little bit more cleaning up, and then I'm gonna put them in. Injectors are all in, they're all torqued down. For some reason this one right here was kind of giving me, like when you set these in and the injector hold downs in, locked into place, you start tightening it down, it goes in really smooth. You can feel where the O-ring hits the bore, and it starts to kind of give a little bit of friction. You just, I would just go slow, you know, don't just like start spinning it full throttle, getting it in there. Let it go slow so the O-ring doesn't it doesn't roll off. You don't roll it, peel it, rip it, tear it, whatever. This one was kind of giving me an issue here. I took it out, put it back in like 5 times, and it just, eventually it just kind of went. So I'm hoping that everything's good with these, or with this cylinder here. Put the injector the electrical connections back through the clips. I just use that chisel that I had to just kind of pry it in, but you can take a long screwdriver, just lay it sideways and push on the rocker arm and it'll pop back through. I have like bad OCD, so I make sure that all these little numbers and stuff here and this little square rectangle here is the same all the way across. But kind of nervous because I heard something like there's no nuts and bolts that are open up here. Everything's all threaded down into the block like a turbo pedestal. I took all that H-pop cover bolts out. They're all over there now, but I heard something just kind of like rattle, and I'm hoping that something didn't fall off somewhere and go down into this head. I looked everywhere I could and I didn't see anything, but God, am I ever hoping that something didn't. So I'm gonna go so torque spec, what I've seen, what I went with was 26 foot-pounds. I've seen a lot of people say aftermarket injectors go up to like 31 foot-pounds. I've seen 24 to 26. I've seen 28. I went with 26. I'm going to confirm that before I seal all this up, but that's just what I went with here. It doesn't feel like it's a whole lot, but pretty much good. Is now we got it, the head's on, we got it studded, we got the billet push rods in there, the injectors are in, I mean the whole thing's done pretty much. Now we just got to do standpipes and dummy plugs and see, we took the oil filter housing and oil cooler out of this thing. We put a bunch of rags down here because as soon as you crack that thing loose, it's pouring oil out from the bottom. It's obviously really dirty down here. We got to get all this oil out of here. We got to replace the screen, do some investigating around down in there. I tried to get it because this H-pop cover's open and it's the same oil in there right now, but whatever falls off of here, I don't want it to roll down into the oil and then come down into the H-pop. So I tried to put as much rags. I got to tape the intake off up here too. I just threw rags up here for now. My tape's inside the house for some reason, but there's that. We're gonna get all that cleaned up. Gotta clean this thing up and start tearing this whole bastard apart. There's a lot of oil in here still. Yeah, I'm gonna work on this. Well, I have no idea where this video is at. I have no idea how long it is. I just got home from work. I figured I'm gonna upload something. I haven't uploaded in a while because I was on edge of what I was gonna do with the truck itself. And obviously, as you can see, we're gonna continue on with this. Yeah, I got the oil filter housing off. It's sitting over here. Started cleaning this up a little bit. I'm gonna try to find a better way of cleaning this up than what I've been doing. Try to find some kind of degreaser or something, or see if I can just go get one of them little tanks from Harbor Freight, like a parts washer, and just do it all. But I want to find something that's like friendly with aluminum material. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up right here. As far as this point from here on out, I got to do the standpipes and dummy plugs, which is, I don't know why I didn't torque them down. I just tightened down the oil rails. It's easier to put the standpipes in first, thread them into the oil rail, you know, get it lined up, and then finish seating it with the oil rail. So I gotta loosen all them bolts back up. But as far as the heads and valve train wise, that's all we got left to do is just put the standpipes and dummy plugs in. And then I gotta do the oil cooler, get the new one and put in, get it all resealed. And then after that, I just gotta paint the H-pop cover, which I'm probably gonna drop the H-pop cover off and all my piping and everything else off at the powder coat in place, get them painted so I can start putting stuff back together. And hopefully I can come across like an O-Dog intake and some new manifolds for this thing at some point. But yeah, it's gonna wrap this video up here. If you guys have watched this far, I appreciate it. Stay tuned for everything else. This is gonna be pretty fun. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below what you guys think of the progress so far, if I've missed anything, if you guys seen something I could do easier or better, or blah blah blah. The subscribing and turning that bell on, it helps a lot more than what everybody thinks. And this is a lot for me to do on the side to pick this camera up. I'm always in a rush. There's kids here, work, everything. It's always just a crazy rush time. So I come out here when I can after work or on the weekends, whenever I have the extra money to, you know, fund this project. So if you guys can, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one.